Hey, what is up everyone and welcome to another video. Tonight we're going to go through something a little bit different. Tonight we're going through the number one question on the channel, and that is, how in the heck do I choose a hilt? Well, it's kind of tricky because I'm not you. And the reason why I say that is because every person's different, which means every person's going to fight differently. And also what I mean by that is, well, if you're picking a hilt, or if you're picking a lightsaber, you're more than likely using one of the seven forms of Jedi combat martial arts, which means there's a lot to choose from in that case, and not all hilts are adequate for each seven of those. So, unfortunately, I don't own all the hilts, so I can't go through each individual hilt and tell you which ones are good for which. What I can tell you is what to look for. Um, so to elaborate on that, what to look for, this is what I did. This is how I was looking for a hilt for what I do. So, for those of you who are 4-4 style users, you might want to pay attention because it might work for you. So, like I said, I'm a 4-4 style user, which means I do a lot of acrobatics. I do a lot of flourishes. My attacks are not just one attack. My attack is swing, spin, twirl, attack, stab, spin, twirl, kick, butterfly kick, all that. So there's a lot of stuff that I do when I duel. So in choosing a hilt with that in mind, I was looking for a hilt that matched that characteristics. There's the word. So I was looking for something that wasn't bulky. I wasn't looking for something that had unnecessary accessories. I wasn't looking for anything that was just odd shaped. I was looking for something pretty straightforward and simple. I wasn't looking for anything like the Prodigal Son or the Redeemer, which has like the gearbox and the awkward weight to it, the look to it. Not necessarily the look, the style to it. Because those choke points probably are not the best things to twirl with because they don't seem, well, good for Form 4. So in choosing Form 4, I just kept in mind, this is how I duel, this is how I duel. And ultimately, I chose get this out of the way. I chose this, the Arbiter, apprentice level Arbiter, the simplest thing out there. And it is my go-to hilt for everything. Anytime I duel, this is it. Anytime that I, want to cosplay, this is it. Why? Because this is the hilt that I see myself actually wielding as a Jedi. This fits everything that I needed to do. There are no added unnecessary accessories. There's no awkward places to it. The grip areas are solid. The weight is phenomenal. The size is perfect. Everything just fits my needs for a Form 4 duelist. Well, that's great. How do I choose different forms? Well, like I said, keep it in mind of how you duel, because I couldn't be doing this with a different style hilt because they're too awkward. So this really fits what I need a hilt to do. Now, this hilt is pretty generic. It would work with a lot of other people, though you wouldn't get the best out of it. Um, it may look great for other styles, but it may not work for it. Simplest reason is just because it's lacking a lot of areas too. When I say there's good weight, I mean it's good distributed weight. There's no awkward weights just on the back or up front or in the middle or anything of that nature. There's good weight everywhere. So when I grab it, the size, because of where I grab it and the size of the hilt, is I'm going to have a good sturdy grip no matter where I grab it from. So when I do come out of flurry and I'm reverse grip, for instance, I'm not going to have to worry about, oh, all my weight's up here. Oh no, there goes my arm. Or all my weight's down here. I'm not going to be able to maintain it because there's no weight up here. Wherever I grab it, there's good weight for it. So those are kind of the key things to keep in mind. Are to pick from. I mean, it's really what do you do? Now, if you don't know what the 7 forms of Jedi combats are, it does make it difficult to buy a hilt. In that case, I do highly recommend check out the Star Wars wiki and kind of brush over the 7 forms and kind of figure out what style you want to do and that you are good at. I mean, we all have our own unique talents. But now, the difference between, say, the Arbiter and this guy, well, no, it's kind of a leap, but this is the apprentice, this is a elite. There's a difference. Can you tell? No? Let me put it to you this way. This is the Arbiter, this is the Black Lotus. Arbiter, Black Lotus. Arbiter, small, simplistic, very wieldy for quick assassin type people. Black Lotus, bulky, heavy, swings with power. You would definitely tell the difference right away on what you would want from a sword. Well, obviously, if you're more heavy hitter swinging style person wants to bash your skull in, ring a ding ding, here's your man. But if you're more elegant, you want to go with something like this. These are pretty simple to choose from. Hilts are a little bit tricky. You have to go down and find the points to them. So going back to the Black Lotus and looking at it and going, well, how do I tell the difference? How would I know what this hilt is good for? Well, a couple key things to keep in mind. Biggest and number one thing that sticks out is these. Okay, these add weight. These are solid. They're not hollow. So these are going to add a lot of weight when you go into your swings. Another key thing. Pommel. Very fat pommel. Pommel from the Arbiter. Very small. Can you tell the difference? So key things like that are to look at, to really focus on, like, oh, okay, well, this guy is going to be really small at the bottom, not putting a lot of weight, whereas this guy is going to add a lot of weight to the bottom. So the several key things to look at are where the weight placement is of the pommel is, of where the top is. There's just a lot of things to keep in mind to look at. They're pretty simple to look at once you actually break it down. And also, it's just what form do you use? How do you fight? So going back to the Black Lotus, if you're more of a Sith style user, this would be a pretty solid choice because Siths fight with a lot of power. 90% of their combat is hammering through their opponent like butter. That's just it. They're just hammering away. So this would be good because high weight, high weight. Smaller grip area equals more thrusting, more power. You have a lot less surface area, so you can grip it and focus and lean in with all your might a little bit easier than you would with something that had a little bit longer handle. So those are some key things to keep in mind when trying the different hilts. Going to, say, the Archon. Well, what are some key things about this? What would make it good for what style? Well, key things about this particular one is, as a abnormally long hilt, the length on it is pretty long for a saber. Well, that's a good thing. That makes it good for, well, a Form 4 duelist. Maybe not. Why is that? Well, unnecessary accessories. Things that your hands can get caught on. Doesn't make it horrible for it, but it doesn't make it a good choice. What does make it a good choice is a defensive style, like Obi-Wan, where he's just straight defense. This would be a solid choice because, well, there's a lot of gripping area, a lot of key gripping areas too. There's no additional weight anywhere. The weight comes from the length, really. And also, if you have like the verting and sound system installed, most of the weight's going to be down through here. So there's no awkward weights anywhere. It's pretty straightforward. So when you're doing a defensive style, well, that's a good thing to keep in mind because, well, if you're in a defensive style, you want to go from one place to another, to another, to another, and just repeat. You want something where you can change your area of effectiveness, revert it back to the other one. So you're just constantly changing, shifting hands, and everything else. So this wouldn't be a bad choice for a defensive style user. So those are the key things to keep in mind when trying a hilt. No, pardon me, not one hilt is better than another. We all have our different opinions. We all have our different thoughts on each individual hilt. And we all are not suited for the same hilt. We're just not, because like I showed you, while Ninja is more than capable of wielding a sword like this, he's not going to benefit a lot from it because of the added weight, less area to grab, but he'll be really proficient with this. Reverse it, Gladiator will use this all day long and not think twice about it, where if you give him this, he's gonna use it well, but he's gonna miss out on a lot of stuff. He's not gonna have that extra power. He's not gonna have, the extra oomph behind his swings. So those are the key things to choose from when trying to pick a hilt. So A, figure out what your form is. If you don't know what your form is, go outside and try it. Pick up a stick, pick up something, and just mess around. Figure out what it is that works for you. Or you can find a martial arts school and go and join it. Or you can go watch Star Wars videos and mimic what they do. That's a solid choice too. Key thing is to have fun. That's what this all boils down to. So I want you guys to have fun. I want you to make a good choice and the right choice, because I don't want you to get something you don't like. So I hope this video has answered some of those questions for you, and I do hope this will help you pick a better hilt for you in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy, guys.